microphone, a live microphone. Don't make us regret putting a live microphone right there. I do have a couple rules here real quick. The first is gonna be no request. No, can you say this line is this character? Trust me when I say you may hear something that come out of these microphones, but please, no request. Rule number 2, there's a lot of you in here. We're gonna try to get through as many questions as possible, so please, no 2, 3, 4, 8-part questions. Find your one best question and ask that. That way we get through as many questions as possible. And of course, if you've been with me here all weekend, you know rule number 3. Have fun. Are you guys ready to practice rule number 3? So with no further ado, please help me welcome up first. He is the voice of Ryan. Please help me welcome Brian Drummond. Take a seat. Next, please help me welcome the voice of L. Please help me welcome Alessandro Giuliani. And last, but certainly not least, but maybe a bit a little light, please help me welcome Brad Swire.
Hello.
Oh wait, those will be on?
That's interesting.
Thank you.
Hello and welcome to, well, the inside of Minneapolis. Has anybody been here before?
Never, first time, and it's actually just been fabulous. We're having a great time here.
AJ, Brad, first time here? Been here before?
First time.
First time.
First time as well.
First.
Go Vikings.
Then the Minnesota crowd, Minneapolis crowd, been treating you well?
Absolutely, yes. It's been fantastic. Great. Dinner's out, great. Fans, great. Guests, great. Handlers, great. Helpers, great. It's been so much fun. We're gonna go to hockey. We're gonna go see the Minnesota Wild play tonight.
Go Wild, go!
Yeah, we saw the Prince musical. Come on, hometown boy. We're getting the whole Minneapolis experience.
You did all of that this weekend.
Yeah.
We did, yeah.
Oh my
Just
God.
pandering to you guys at this point. Checking all the boxes.
So, like, one of my questions always is, do you get a chance to explore the towns and do stuff, or is it usually just, airport, hotel, convention center, hotel, airport, and then on to the next one?
You do start to blend convention centers together sometimes, but the accents of fans change depending on what region you're in. But no, I mean, I think it's one of the great pleasures of doing these conventions, which we've been privileged to do for the last 3 years now. We've been on a little bit of a circuit. We're a bit of a band on tour. And it's one of the great gifts of it is that we've gotten to explore so many parts of the lower 48 that we wouldn't have otherwise.
We're Canadians, that's why.
Yes, we are.
With that, yes.
Oh yeah, eh? So we're just
we're practically Minnesotans, right?
Minnesota.
Never.
You just gotta go hard in the corner, right?
Yeah.
So
Dump that puck in there and get out.
Totally. Good times. I want to see what the ASL is for a Canadian accent, actually. Is it to change his face for Canadian accent? I don't know. Oh yeah, eh? What's that?
Subpar.
I love your buddy guy, I love you guy, huh? Love your friend, yeah? Sorry about the way we talk. That was borderline insulting.
Anyway, you Minnesotans have lived up to your reputation, which is that you're a friendly lot. Yeah, you're good. You're good. We're loving it. Thanks.
Have you had the opportunity to have a Juicy Lucy yet?
I have no idea what that is, so no.
No?
Box is that? Yes.
Right? So if it's possible, somebody go out in the snow and bring a Juicy Lucy to Brian's table.
We have not been baptized in Lake Minnetonka either. That doesn't happen.
So I want to ask, of course, the obvious question is, over the course of your career, how many journals do you think you have signed by fans at your table?
He calls them journals. gonna do a little journaling here, write about all my friends. Where do my friends go? I went to call them about my journaling. I was talking about them in this book.
I've probably signed thousands of Black Diaries.
Yes, the Death Notes have been signed a lot by us. It's a real fun part of what we get to do is to sort of relive all these little things and the fun stuff that people want to put in them, and you know, we'll even fake a "How would you like to die?" and write a death for somebody if they really want it. It's pretty fun, and it's been just as fun this weekend too.
So going back to the beginning and your first time, whether it was seeing sides for the audition or when you were casted and reading that script, what were your initial thoughts to this show, which is quite a bit different than a lot of other shows and animes out there?
It was maybe a little bit different for me than these guys in that I hadn't done a lot of anime before Death Note or dubs. I had done one show called Ranma 1.5. That was just a small part, and yeah, I think that was maybe it. So it was kind of new to me, the process of it, because it wasn't a pre-lay animation show where they animated after you do the voice. There was a little sketch of the character, I think, or an image of him and a few lines, and I'm sure that I read for Light. I don't remember reading for Light, but I'm sure I read for all of the younger voices at that point.
Maxida, probably.
Yeah, I don't know who else at that point. But without a doubt, Elle sort of stood out visually as like an unusual character. And yeah, I feel lucky to have found him, or he found me, or whatever it is.
First of all, I'm happy to hear that Ranma got such a good response. That's amazing. Love that. So Ranma was my very first anime series that I worked on. I played Moose, for those of you that know Ranma a little bit. Shampoo! Ranma, when did your face become so hairy?
He's Canadian.
But Death Note to this day has still been one of my favorite auditions because it's rare that you show up for an audition and you get one page of dialogue to read. And Death Note had just come out in Japan, so they had excerpts from several episodes. So the top of the page, mild-mannered Japanese student, and by the time you got to the bottom of that one page, maniacal psychopath laughter. I'm like, ooh, that sounds like a fun character to play.
I'll tell the quick version of this because I've told it a few times. I was not ever asked to audition for the Shinigami Ryuk. So we get sent our sides from the agents, as they talked about, and I thought it was just an anime. I'd done a lot of animation. I thought it was an anime with just a bunch of humans. Nothing too spectacular about it, and I was reading for Light's father, a couple of the older detectives, I think. I went into the audition and saw a picture posted above on the wall in there of Ryuk. Said sometimes they'll post the pictures of the characters you're playing at the studio. And I was like, whoa, who's the freaky demon bad guy character? Why am I not reading for that? Because I played a lot of villains. I love doing that. So as soon as I walked into the room and saw Carl Willems, the fabulous director who directed the whole series, I asked him, dude, Carl, can I read for the bad guy demon out there? He looks like the coolest character in the show. I never got sent those sides. And he's like, well, we've got some time, I guess, so here they are. Take 5 minutes, have a look at them, but he gave me 2 notes. He said, he's not the bad guy, not at all. And he has...
Arguable.
Nerd, yeah.
And he has an interesting laugh. So I had a couple minutes to come up with an idea for that character, and that's the one I booked, and not Light's father, nobody else. I got Ryuk. So sometimes it's a great lesson to ask for what you want. I could have mild-mannered gone in and go, oh man, I wish I was reading for that cool character, read my other roles and left, but I saw something, I said, well, it doesn't hurt to ask. And Carl said, sure, well, go ahead, read for that one, we'll squeeze you in. And that's the role I got, and here I am having an opportunity to chat in below 0 temperatures in Minnesota to all of you.
You crashed it and you crushed it.
I crashed it, yeah.
I want to talk a little bit about auditions, and that is, and you mentioned, you saw this character, and you're like, yes, I want to audition for him. How hard is it, or is it easy for you to have that goldfish memory when auditioning and not get attached to a character and be like, oh, I know this character, I want this character, this is me, and then not get it and not be crushed that you didn't get
New
it.
shows, it's easier with that. Like, I didn't know any of who these characters were on Death Note. Even when I booked the role of Vegeta in Dragon Ball Z, I didn't know who that was. Nobody in North America really knew who Vegeta in Dragon Ball Z was either. It was a brand new series in 1995, and so those ones are easier to let go of. When you audition for a big part, it's like, I know this series, I know who that is, oh please let me get that role, and you don't, then it's a little more crushing for sure, because you're thinking about it, I could have been that famous role.
Right.
You know, I think we've been doing this long enough that our calluses are strong. You know, you do get, you know, it's self-preservation to some degree. You learn to audition for something and then try not to obsess over it afterwards. Try to sort of let it go. I've certainly not gotten roles that I have been quietly excited about. And I've also gotten roles that I knew nothing about that have changed my life. Like, here I am. So you kind of learn to just sort of try to go with the flow and you know, just keep doing the work. Just keep doing the work and trying to enjoy the process of it, because
Just keep
ultimately,
swimming.
yeah, like Dory, just keep swimming, and so much of it is out of your control, and you learn that over time when you've been doing it as long as we have.
It is kind of amazing how sometimes you'll read for something that you feel like you're perfect for, and you don't get it. And you'll submit for something you're like, I don't have a shot at this, and you get cast. So there's really no way to predict the outcome of auditions or popularity of series or any of that. So you just really develop as thick a skin as you can manage and just kind of roll with the punches and just keep at it. And I would like to say here that, you know, we deal with a lot of rejection in this industry. It is basically an industry of rejection. So having the opportunity to come to events like this and talk to all of you and discuss shows that we worked on in the past or present, and having you guys say, I really like what you did on that series, it really does kind of fuel our batteries, or at least mine, to go back home and be like, I'm gonna keep submitting for stuff that I may or may not have a shot at or feel I have a shot at, because I wanna do you proud. And I don't want to let the negativity seep into my world. And you guys bring positivity to all of us. It's amazing. Thank you.
So something I try to remember is that, you know, you talk about being right for a role. You know, you are perfect for a role often that you don't get, but you might remind the person who's casting it of their old boyfriend or whatever, or like, there's so much that is just, you know, lightning in a bottle. So you can do the work and you can be right for it, and you still might not get it. Just keep doing it.
You mentioned, you know, the show's popularity, and it is one of, you know, the most popular animes, and you know, worldwide. When did you first recognize the show's popularity?
I got it. I'll start. I got invited to a convention shortly after Death Note started airing on television, so this was quite a long time ago. And I showed up, and I want to say every fourth person that walked past me was dressed as L. I stopped counting in the 90s as to how many L's I'd seen at this one convention.
It's a really comfortable cosplay, let's be honest.
For sure. Yeah. Not a lot of footwear, and so much candy.
For me, it was a slower process. I had been to a few conventions, but not anime ones. I'd been to conventions for sci-fi and stuff for on-camera work that I'd done. But it was a similar thing of like, I would be signing for Battlestar Galactica or for a different show, Smallville or something. And I'd just see, well, thank you, single fan. Are you over 50? I think you probably are. And I would see like a single L walking by, not stopping at my table at all, but just sort of walking by, like having a good time, and be like, oh, that's kind of cool. And then, you know, the next convention there'd be like 2 of them. It was a slower thing because I hadn't jumped into the full-on anime world yet. And so, truly for me, it was 3 years ago when we first went to a convention as a band here, as a merry band. And it was when 17 years after we had done the show, we showed up at a convention and had a reception like this, that it literally blew my mind. I couldn't believe it. And yeah, I'm so grateful for that.
Yeah, just like AJ said, I've done a ton of characters, and I've been to a number of conventions as the original voice of Vegeta in Dragon Ball Z. So I've done a lot of conventions, quite focused much more on the role of Vegeta, and had a lot of fun with that. And like AJ said, a little over 3 years ago, I was just with some of my other voice actor friends at a table at one of these specifically Dragon Ball Z conventions called Kamehacon. And there was an agent there, because I didn't have one that dealt with me for conventions, who asked me, oh, so what do you do? I said, oh, Vegeta from Dragon Ball Z. He's like, whoa. And I said, sometimes I'll sign the odd thing for this character, Ryuk, that I played in this series, Death Note. And he was like, who? What? You're Ryuk from Death Note? I guess he had just watched this series only a month or so earlier with his girlfriend and fell in love with it. And he said, that show is huge. Do you want to do some conventions based around that? And I'm like, okay, I have to sign a lot of stuff for Ryuk. So I said, if you want the other cast on the show, I know them all as well. You could have Misa and Light and El. Well, we could all come to a convention if you want. They're friends of mine. He's like, yes. So we went to this convention that AJ was talking about, and walked into a room with like a wall of people at every one of our tables. And I was like, what is going on? All with Death Notes and Ryuk and L and light pops and every costume. It was insane. And then he was like, see, I told you the show's popular. I'm like, okay.
We record these shows in a bit of a bubble, so you can never really predict the popularity or longevity of a series. And with anime in particular, it took a little while for anime kind of to gain traction here in North America, and now it's just here and not going anywhere. But I think on kind of a broader stage, when over 10 years after we recorded the show, it showed up on a Halloween episode, Treehouse of Horror of The Simpsons. Now we know that Death Note's a real thing and it's not going anywhere anytime soon. That was kind of like a big tell right there.
I joke that it's that first convention that we attended. It's the closest we'll ever feel to being, and I want to see the ASL for this too, William Shatner. Can you just overact a little bit? No, I'm kidding.
So speaking of conventions, speaking of William Shatner, has there been a moment where you were at your table and there was somebody next to you, or you saw across the way in the green room that you kind of fanboyed out a little bit? Either you couldn't speak, or maybe you spoke a little bit too much when you tried talking to them?
Some of the big fan expo conventions, I was at one in Vancouver shortly after we kind of got this band together, and I remember sitting at a table for lunch in the green room, and that's where the performers go to grab their bite before they go back. And there was, so Anthony Daniels, the C-3PO, was beside me. And then, of course, we have a Hobbit, Sean Astin, was over across the way, and RoboCop was next to him, and Apollo Creed, rest in peace, I was at this table thinking, I grew up with all, and I was like, one of these things is not like the other. And I was talking to Sean Astin, I said, oh, I'm just one of the voice guys, and Sean is the sweetest guy. He was like, oh, that's so cool, I want to do more of that stuff too. I just love it. And I was like, wow, right?
You were a Goonie.
You were a Goonie.
You were amazing.
I know.
Yeah, I mean, this whole thing, this profession can be at times like living the dreams of your childhood. I played with toys and then I became a toy, like it's all a little surreal without a joke, or without a doubt. So yeah, there's been those moments. There was a green room, and they're never green, by the way. Do you know why? Okay, there was a green room recently where we were in a green room with, Priscilla Presley, and John Cleese and George Takei were both having naps on the couch, with heads on opposite ends, obviously. And then and John Cusack was sitting at one table, and you just these strange collisions of people that you've seen on your screen or your television or heard growing up, and then in reality, it is always a bit of a like jumping into cold water for a moment. You're like, and then you realize there's just people having a nap.
Well, I think it was that same green room where who's the actor came up to you, he's like, I loved your Battlestar Galactica.
Oh yeah, and then something like that will happen. You're like, what? But no, but okay, thank you. Thank you so much. I love you too. It's a cool thing. It's a cool byproduct of the profession that people are constantly sort of low-level aware of everyone's work, and then occasionally you'll have someone who you're really into who's also really into you, and then you like hang out.
The Mummy people, by the way, sweetest bunch of people. Brendan Fraser, amazing guy, just chatting out everybody in the green room, and what a great guy.
Kind of to your question, so I try not to let myself get too starstruck when I see people that, I've been watching my whole life or whatever, so I try and be cool. Whether I actually am cool or not, not sure. But one time I know I was definitely not cool. I was at a convention in Toronto in Canada, and they had a bunch of sports guys there as well. So like Joe Montana was there, and like a bunch of other guys. And there was one hockey player who I idolized as a kid. It was Joe Sakic. Yeah. Who's from basically where I'm from. And, Hall of Famer, Stanley Cup winner, Olympic, gold medalist, all that kind of stuff. So I'm like, well, I have a jersey and a hockey card, so I'd like to get his autograph if I can. So the staff came and tapped me on the shoulder at some point, said, Mr. Sakic's at his table if you'd like to go get an autograph. I'm like, cool. Can you guys hang on for a sec? I'm just gonna go meet Joe. And so I go strolling over there thinking I'm all cool, and I get up to him and I go, hockey, you're good. And I'm like, oh my God. So when I walked back to my table afterwards and they said, how did it go? I said, oh, I was so cool. I was not. No, it surprised me how marble-mouthed I became, because I only seen him, on television. And I don't think I'd ever seen him play live, and suddenly he's right there and he's looking at me, and I go, awesome.
It's different now too, because we all have screens. Some of them have them out right now, and they're in our pocket. And so these people that we see, including ourselves sometimes, are in our pockets. It's even more intimate than when we used to have to tune in at 8 o'clock every Thursday to watch someone up there in the screen. It's sharper than real life HD now. So it's a different disconnect now when you see someone, and somehow more intimate somehow.
So we have about 20 minutes left. If you guys want to line up, and while folks are lining up, while folks are lining up and getting organized, I'm going to ask you this last question, and that is, of course, there was a Death Note musical in Japan. If you could take and make a musical out of any other project that you have done, what anime, what show would you like to do? Would you like to see a musical come from?
Any other musical? Well, I got to play Wolverine in about 5 movies, and Wolverine Origins is a pretty good story. You were actually in that one too. Yeah, Wolverine. We both played Wolverine. How about that? That's a pretty wild story. I would love to see how they pull it off.
Wait, Wolverine as a musical? That guy would never work. That guy would never work on Broadway.
Spider-Man had his trouble, so maybe not.
Well, I mean, the first one that kind of popped in my head was a show called Hamtaro. But there's already kind of music in that, so I'm like, I don't know. But yeah, I jumped to X-Men right away because they're already kind of like spangly tights. So they're halfway there. So now I'm picturing like choreography and all that kind of stuff with Wolverine and Gambit and Nightcrawler. Like, it'd be amazing.
Yeah, it's funny because I think because I am a singer, often when I'm in a show on camera, it comes out at some point that I'm a singer, and then all of a sudden my character is singing. Usually it's deep in the season 3 or 4 or whatever, they're out of ideas. They're like, well, let's make him sing. I don't know, that's for that reason. So I'm gonna say Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, because I think that would lend itself to everyone singing so well. It's such a fantastical, dark, twisted show, and I could see some sort of Danny Elfman-like music really fitting in well with that world.
There's been a lot of parodies of a certain series, but I'm not sure if there's any musicality that's been brought to it. Like Dragon Ball Z as a musical might be very, very interesting.
All right, let's get these questions going. We'll be short and sweet with our answers too, so we can
We have a long line, so hello, what is your name?
Hi, my name is Chris.
Hi, Chris.
My question is for all three of you. So Canadian voiceover has a really rich tapestry of material. You know, sometimes we'll do dark shows like Death Note or Black Lagoon, which is one of my favorites. Or you'll do Hamtaro, My Little Pony, Care Bears, Dragon Tales, stuff like that. As actors, how do you kind of develop the skill sets to be able to do such vastly different material?
That's one of the great pleasures of being an actor, I think, being able to explore all the sides of your, the multitudes that are inside you, the dark and the light, and I've certainly done both in fair share. I think the epitome of the dark is probably something like Death Note, and the other end of the spectrum is Barbie.
It's an instrument up here, and we're taught, all of us have our own different training we've gone through, and you have to learn how to play it. Just like if you're going to be in a band and guitar is your thing, if you only play jazz, you'll be, you might be pigeonholed as making a living as a performer, unless it's the highest level of it. If you can take that guitar and play in from every kind of session music possible, there's a great chance that you can continue to work as a performer for a long time. So I try to learn how to play this instrument in as many ways as I can.
That's a great analogy that I've never heard before, is like, that as voice actors, we're like we're session musicians who come in and we can just sit down with a bunch of other session musicians and play whatever style. Go,
If you're working on a cartoon like My Little Pony, which was my very first cartoon I worked on, you're working with a cast in the same room, so you kind of play off each other and develop your character that way. For a show like Black Lagoon, however, because it's a dub series, so they bring in one actor at a time. Well, in that instance, you have these incredible visuals to kind of play off with. So you have these little materials, and experiences that can kind of help you get into certain characters sometimes, and it can be quite helpful.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Cool, thank you. Also, real quick, Brian, I am watching Dragon Quest Adventure of Dai right now. You are awesome on that as Fazard and Hadron.
Thank you very much.
Hi, what's your name?
Hi, my name is Liz.
Hi, Liz.
So my question is, I think dubs are getting better every single year, but I think one of the reasons, not only the writing, but the amazing dub work that you guys did on Death Note is its stay power. Can you think of something, having worked in that industry for as long as you guys have, can you think of something you did differently on Death Note that helped with the dub, that made it so special?
We had a great director, for one thing, Carl Willems, he has to watch all the episodes and put all the pieces together when we go in one at a time to do our scenes. So he has to set the tone of how he'd like something delivered. Because I know many a times he's like, oh, it's a little big. Let's bring this down a little bit in this sequence of this scene because I think this is going on. So I put a lot of credit on how Carl sort of led us through that process. I mean, we bring what we can to the table. Sometimes it's too big or a little too low, and he's the maestro, and should take a lot of credit to how Death Note turned out. He's directed thousands of episodes of anime over his career, and he's just very good at it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, what's your name?
My name is Kendra.
Hi, Kendra.
My question is, when doing the dubbing for the live action films, did you have to take a different approach to the characters, or was it a similar approach for the anime?
It was pretty similar because we had just finished the animated series, and the live action came shortly thereafter, if I remember. So we were kind of still in the pocket. We were still in the zone.
For those who don't know, this is not the Netflix live action. This was three Japanese live action movies.
We don't talk about that one. The Japanese live actions came shortly thereafter, so we were right in the zone, and so yeah, it wasn't a different approach. It was still a dub. It was really fun to see the live action imagining rendering of it and I thought the actor who played Elle was brilliant, so that was really fun to do, see him come to life in a different way.
When I got to watch those movies in the theater along with everybody else, I was really concerned because I wasn't sure if it was going to be over the top or poorly done, but I found that everybody in the cast kind of did dial in their performance so that it was believable coming out of an actual live action person's mouth as opposed to a big cartoon mouth flap, whatever. So I found almost like 10 minutes in that I forgot it wasn't supposed to be in English, and that was really a testament to the professionalism of the cast and the direction and all that stuff. So they turned out a lot better than I was worried that it would.
I still got to play a big animated character because Ryuk was animated, so it wasn't that different for me.
I mean, I still got to just mumble.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hello, Mohammed. Nice to see you again, Alessandro and Brian. Haven't seen you yet, Brad, but huge pleasure. Not a huge anime buff, but I immerse myself every now and then, especially the media you've done. So, my question for each of you. Brad, my favorite role of yours, Nightcrawler from X-Men Evolution. Alessandro, Gambit from Same Place. And finally, Brian, Renkotsu from Inuyasha. So, my overall question, what's your favorite scene from each of the aforementioned roles I've mentioned?
Wow, that's digging deep. It's really hard for me to remember a favorite scene from Renkotsu. I always like playing sort of the anti-hero. All I remember of that, I was being pretty excited to come back as part of the Band of Seven in Inuyasha and just being part of it. I will tell you, I don't remember specific scenes that were my favorite. I know it doesn't end that well for him.
Yeah, sniveling coward who died for killing one of his own.
Exactly.
Yeah, similarly, I don't remember specific scenes, but anything with Rogue, involving Rogue and Gambit and their relationship is just a delight. And as a comic book nerd from my teens, again, it was the same childhood wish fulfillment of having read the Marvel comics and then being able to give voice to them.
Later in the series with Nightcrawler and X-Men Evolution, there was a kind of relationship that developed, very friendly relationship between Nightcrawler and Boom Boom, which was a lot of fun to play. But earlier in the series, I remember kind of like a battle within the match in between Nightcrawler and Toad.
Oh yeah.
And Toad was played by Noel Fisher, who was amazing at it. And I just remember a little bit of improv going back and forth during that battle. And it was a really fun sequence to record and to watch.
Yeah, nice German accent you gave Nightcrawler, by the way. Schick stick the Fazzy, dude. Wir sind X-Men. I just won't pull your tail, man.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mohammed. Hello, what is your name?
I'm Kristen.
Hi, Kristen.
I was just wondering, throughout recording your lines, how familiar you were with the storyline, and were there any parts that kind of surprised you towards the end of your character's storylines and arcs?
I mean, everything surprised me because I had not read the manga, I didn't know what was coming, I just was learning in real time as episodes were fed to me what was happening in the big picture of the story, and then with my character, all of his neurodivergence and eccentricity and quirks and sweet tooth were all discovered for me, and so I would bring, increasingly more pastry into the studio. The only time I've been a method actor in my life, I think.
A real mess to work after he was in there.
Whatever, apple cores.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Hi.
So we all know that Light unfortunately dies at the end of the anime, but
What?
unfortunately, hear me out.
Speculation.
That's what I'm saying. Anyway, but Ryuk tells him in the anime that he can't go to heaven or hell when he uses the death note, whatever. Say that theoretically he did go to the afterlife. What would L in this case and Light have said to each other when they saw it? Like, say that they saw each other in the afterlife. What would they have been like?
I think Ryuk is mediating a little talk between the two. Okay.
I think they'd just be playing tennis, or chess, or continuing
You wouldn't
the.
say I told you so or something. I knew.
Oh no, it's beyond.
It would be like, I knew it. And I would be like, well, you couldn't prove it.
I think, like, my picturing is almost like a very kind of trepidatious approach, and then like a big, long, awkward hug. I miss you, my friend, that type of thing.
Thank you.
Hello, what's your name?
Hi, I'm Kyle.
Hi, Kyle.
Again, good to be here for Brad. Thank you. For Brad, what was your favorite Battlestar scene? For Brad or for me?
My favorite Battlestar scene? What was your favorite Battlestar scene?
I like the
Brad?
Cylons. Cylon, tell me.
Your favorite scene that I was in?
The one with the Cylons? When you lost your leg?
My favorite Battlestar scene. Wow, that's hard to scroll through. I guess off the top of my head, it was the scene. No spoilers. Sorry, everybody. I, at a certain point, get to actually take command of a fleet, even though it's only for about 28 minutes. But those were great minutes.
It's 28 minutes of your life. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so we have a little bit. We have about less than 10 minutes left.
Oh, we're gonna do
Only one word.
Lightning round.
One word questions. Sorry, thanks.
That's it. Next.
Hi, my name's Lincoln. So my question is, how do you guys think the show would have gone differently if a famous detective like Batman would have helped Elle try to catch Lyle?
You would have kicked a lot more ass. I mean, there's lots of parallels. We've got, like how to use like the Alfred character. I think, all hands on deck. Bring Sherlock Holmes in too while you're at it. Why not? Just have to pantheon of detectives try to catch this guy.
But I know all their real names. Oh, Batman? I know who you are. Next, you got Columbo coming up? Come on.
Thanks so much, Lincoln.
Thank you.
Hello, Jake.
Hi, I'm Joe. So you guys tasked me yesterday to try to think of a question you might never been asked before.
Okay.
So if there was one piece of apple pie or some kind of apple dessert, who would win in a fight over it? Ryuk or Elle?
Ryuk like pie?
Apple pie.
Just like you just love the power.
Apple anything. Apple teas.
Appletinis. Ryuk sipping Appletinis.
Oh, well, of course you would.
Yeah, I can't argue with that.
Thanks.
Hi, what's your name?
My name's Logan. This is kind of like a simple question, like probably you've asked this before. Do you think Wright became a Shinigami after he died?
Yes, because I want to see that spin-off series.
He probably has a friend up there.
Big Appletinis together in a Shinigami rock.
Hello, I'm Onyx. And this is also like probably a pretty ass question. What is your favorite quote? What's your favorite quote of your character from Death Note?
I told you in the very beginning, I'd be the one writing your name in the notebook when you die.
Do we have any Misas out there today? I didn't see too many. Any Misa cosplayers?
That's okay.
Oh, got one out there. Can you yell out, I can't imagine a world without light. Yes, that would be dark.
Just because I've got a lot of free stuff from this one scene, I'll take it to you.
Yeah.
Hello, I'm Ray. My question is for Mr. Denali. So I don't know how big of a method actor you are, but I have to know. So when we're recording house lines, did you ever do like the crouch? Please do not do it without your legs.
He does it at dinner.
And that powers reaction are increased by approximately 40%.
Playing Al was a big part of the reason I got that part in Planet of the Apes. You're all monkey ready to go.
Y'all got that connected healthcare, don't.
Hi, Lynn. My question is, if you had the Death Note, and we all know the Death Note has compulsion, you have to use it once. It makes you use it once. What are you doing with it? You have to use it once. After that, you can give it up.
What are you gonna do with it?
I don't know what you can do with it.
Drop it to another planet for a little fun, I guess. There, maybe.
Can you time delay it? Like, can you say, or is it instant? I don't.
Yeah, you can
sort of like, you know, made in advance?
With lots of candy, poppies, and all the journey. Yeah, that's a good answer.
That's a good question. We're gonna grab another one.
All right, so we have 5 minutes left. If I can have everybody come up here. Everybody, be really quick with our answers. Go for it. Everybody line up over here, please. Line up. We're gonna do this really fast.
Oh, nice work.
Ready? Ready? All right. And go.
Oh, wow. In 5 minutes, question. My question is has any part of the character in Death Note resonated with you and stayed with you for however long, how old the show is?
Yeah, and I'm in therapy because of it.
I love apples and they always will.
Love gelato, and I love to sit like that.
Hi, I'm Loretta. Sorry, my question is unfortunately a difficult question, but we have to go quickly, so good luck. What is the best life advice you've ever gotten?
Best life advice you've ever gotten. Don't forget to breathe. Treat others how you'd like to be treated. Ditto. While breathing.
My name's Nelson, and if you could play any anime character, what would it be?
Any anime character?
David Kaneda from Akira.
Oh, you stole mine!
The first anime, anything I really watched on
Mine too, was the first anime, so that was sort of like seminal.
Okay, I'll pick Tetsuoka.
You go, I don't know.
Wow, I think because it was such a fabulous movie that I always loved with my family, that My Neighbor Totoro. I would just love to be the dad in My Neighbor Totoro.
Anything in Spirited Away, how about that?
If your character on Death Note had to present a letter on Sesame Street with this first letter here, how would your character present?
Obvious for me, I'm not even going to answer that.
I didn't quite understand the question. If I had to present a letter?
Yeah, so like seeds or cookie, what would you pick for your the first letter?
It's Akira, for sure. Yeah, I'd probably have like a kite or something like that. Karate.
What letter are you gonna present?
T is for Death Note. Oh, what kind of musical do you listen to? The Death Note musical, of course.
Maximum the Hormone.
I think Elle could go either way. He could go like deep, like techno, or he could. It would have to be very cerebral music, so like Bach or techno,
and Taylor Swift.
Hi, my name is John. I had a question before. I had to swap it because somebody else asked it, but if you guys have seen the Death Note musical, what are your thoughts on it?
Love it. I can't wait for it, hopefully, to get a production here in North America.
Yes.
Yeah.
It wasn't it.
I missed it. I was there by 4 days when I did a trip there. I can't wait to see it in North America. We'll be there for sure.
We might do this. Hi.
Hi, my name's Jordan. If you can remember, what is the most challenging scene that you had to record for Death Note?
The whole last episode with the laugh and all that kind of stuff, yeah.
Yeah, similarly, like my last episode, because I knew I was going to say goodbye to this character that I enjoyed so much.
Yeah, probably when the first time I didn't know the comedy was coming with the apples, and I twisted myself up like a pretzel, do handstands, like that. They were how quirky to make that. I didn't know how funny he wanted it to be or how serious he wanted it to be. So it took a bit of fussing around with the director to figure out how to make that work.
I also had a question about the live-action Japanese films. Have you been able to dub any of the other live-action films that have come out, or how has it been continuing on with your characters beyond the anime in the movies?
Just the ones we did at the time. Yeah, we have done.
But I think I think I can speak for everybody saying we would welcome the opportunity to reprise each of our roles in any capacity for this series because it's been such a wonderful experience.
Hello, I'm Derek, and I actually have a question for all three of you.
Sure.
Is it one question?
Yes.
Okay.
So, I know like Shannon and Ken couldn't arrive due to not feeling well. I hope she feels better in the near future. And I was just wondering, like, do all three of you have a shout out for her?
A shout out for Shannon.
Yeah.
Get well, our beautiful Misa. We miss you on this sofa. She's super fun.
But Shani, I think I could fall for you.
Shannon, we love you, and I have so much
to make up for how Light treated me, so.
All right, we're gonna do this. Hello, last question.
Hi, I'm John, and I have a question. If L was Kira and Light was L, how different do you think things would have turned out in the original story?
Good. I think I know.
No, there would be a lot more attention to footwear. I can't see Light running around all barefoot.
You could have candied apples instead of regular apples. Look at these candied apples.
It just turned, I don't know. Maybe it would have just turned out the same because they're such equals, you know? Like,
I mean, yeah, but their philosophies are also like so different. Yeah.
Hell, might have just buried the book. And that would have happened.
L probably wouldn't have been like so clueless and the
I
accidentally
don't
revealed
think
his
L would
identity.
have succumbed to pride as much as Light did. I don't think he is inclined to as sort of megalomaniacal, messianic tendencies. I don't think so.
And instead of hiding a television in a bag of chips, it would be lodged in like a cake or something like that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for hanging out. Please, one more time. Let's give it up for our cast.
Say hi, we didn't answer the question at our tables. We're still there for the rest of the day. If we didn't get to you,